see.
大家好，我中文的名字是有兰，朋友的友，兰花的兰，Shmi iri Tamara. Hello, everyone. My Chinese name is Yolan, and it means friendly orchid flower. My Hebrew name is Tamara, and it means date palm tree. And my English name is Julianne, which, as far as I know, has no relation to any plants and isn't connected to any of my heritages in any way whatsoever. I live in Mason County, Washington. It's the home of 68,000 neighbors, 2 tribal nations, Skokomish and Squaxin Island, a single incorporated city of 10,000 people, and a gorgeous, expansive body of salt water known in Tuaduk Utsid, the Skokomish language, as Tuaduk Sidak, and in English as Hood Canal. Mason County is also home to the largest population of indigenous Mam and Conhobal Mayan Guatemalans in the entire United States. To me, it is the most beautiful place on earth because it's the place where I learned to love land. A mentor and dear friend of mine, Skokomish culture keeper Kimberly Miller, she teaches this workshop. It's called The Forest Was Our Walmart, meaning that everything her people needed to thrive, food, medicine, shelter, clothing, education, spiritual guidance, all of that could be found in the old-growth forests. Kimberly also told me once that the gifts of her land are not just for Skokomish people, but for everyone. My friend James, who grew up poor in rural Mason County, he can attest to that. He and his poor white friends would escape to the forest to find food when they were hungry and seek safety when their homes became violent. And the Mam and Conhobal Guatemalan communities immigrate to Mason County in part because historically they could always find work picking brush or salal in the older forests. Today, our old-growth forests are just tiny remnants. And even the second-growth legacy forests, even they are nearly extinct, increasingly clear-cut by timber companies that extract the wealth from our rural lands, destroying traditional culture, ecological integrity, and economic security all at once. And this ongoing loss of natural abundance is a loss of power for our communities because it is so much easier to oppress communities that are dependent on money instead of on forests to meet basic needs like food, medicine, and shelter. But on the flip side, we build community power by protecting legacy forests so that they grow into old growth for future generations. This picture right here, that's me and Kimberly's grandson, a young Squaxin Island tribal member, and we're doing a little recon in his ancestral territory. That legacy forest was also one of the very places where my friend James used to forage food as a teenager. This picture was taken in 2023, just before the state auctioned off our tree relatives to a multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation for $3.6 million. And in an attempt to stop that clear cut, we quickly learned that protecting legacy forests means not just organizing people, but also organizing money. The $30,000 we raised gave our multiracial, mixed-class, intergenerational coalition an opportunity to take action together instead of simply despairing in isolation. Our disconnected communities who had nothing in common but our shared love for that forest, we built relationships and skills that lasted long after we ultimately lost that forest. Organizing money is a leap of faith. If you don't have money, you have to trust that you can get it. And if you do have money, you have to trust that you'll be okay even if you give it all away. My organization, Mason County Climate Justice, we took a leap of faith last year when we had the unexpected and unbudgeted opportunity to save 70 acres of legacy forest and a salmon-bearing stream from being clear-cut, mined, or developed into luxury homes. Since our founding in 2018, we had never spent a single dollar that we hadn't already raised. And so it was absolutely terrifying to think about going into debt. But walking that land in Skokomish territory with its abundance of food, medicine, water, and sweeping views of Tuaduk Sidak, that changed everything. We did not know how we could possibly raise $500,000 to pay off a 5-year loan, and yet we went ahead anyway, trusting in our community connections and trusting that the land would speak to others like it spoke to us. Organizing money is not a strategy, but a tactic, one for us that is ongoing as we continue to try to raise the funds to protect those 70 acres. And I want to be super clear, the power is not in the money itself. The power is in seeing the salmon return home on that land. The power is in cultural continuity for a people who have survived genocide. The power is in us settlers returning to right relationship with all life, restoring what we can from what our ancestors broke. The power is in building strong cross-class, multiracial, intergenerational relationships. And the power is in sharing and trusting that you don't need to hoard wealth to survive. The power is in being vulnerable enough to rely on your community and ask them for help. And the power is in clean air and water, traditional foods and medicines, shade from heat waves, biodiversity, and in keeping hope alive. True wealth, it's not the money. The true wealth is in us, our relationships, and the shared gifts of the land.